Welcome back to the Lumiose Post, where we talk about all things Pokemon, and today we're going to be talking about Pokemon Works. Now, for those who don't know, Pokemon Works is a new venture, I guess you could call it, that the Pokemon Company has announced. It's a new company that they have made. It's located in the same building as ILCA, and it turns out that its kind of presidents, its board, if you will, the people who control it, is a mixture of people from the Pokemon Company and from ILCA. And now, if you're like me, your knee-jerk reaction to this was like, ew, ILCA, you know, because they made Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, and if you've seen this channel once before, because I think I mention it almost every video, I hate Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl. It's the most sloppy, lazy-made game ever, in my opinion, at least for Pokemon. But that's just my opinion, and it's totally valid if you feel differently. But either way, Pokemon Works, I think, will be a great thing no matter how you feel about Pokemon Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and ILCA. And that's exactly what we're going to get into today, why this is such a good thing. So the first thing I want to talk about is the fact that this is called Pokemon Works is that I can now make the joke that we all Pokemon Go to our Pokemon Works, and then we Pokemon Go back to our Pokemon Home, and then we Pokemon Sleep. They're just putting Pokemon in front of everything now. But regardless, had to make that. Could not stop myself. That's all right. Go ahead and unsub. I don't care. But the thing about this is that the Pokemon Company working closer with ILCA just means better products. And let me get into how. So for those who don't know, ILCA not only made Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, but they also are the people behind Pokemon Home. Pokemon Home is, of course, the cloud storage system for your Pokemon, and it's kind of the catalyst of how you get Pokemon from past gens to the present gens, right? It's how you got that shiny Rookidee you caught in Pokemon Sword into Pokemon Scarlet, right? It's how you got the Hisuian Samurai you used in Legends Arceus into Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. So the thing about Pokemon Home is it's been a little lackluster, right? Like, they advertised this thing as a home for your Pokemon. They acted like, you know, oh, you'd get to interact with them in ways you couldn't think of. They acted like it would be a game, but it's really not, right? It's a storage system. And sure, there are some things like you've got the GTS and Wonder Trading you can do, but Wonder Trading exists in the games, and the GTS should exist in the games. You can fight me on that. But they also have like some, you can like get stickers by completing missions, but to be honest, like, most of those missions you're going to be completing in-game. Unless you're using the GTS to trade, which, no offense, doesn't sound that fun. You're going to be completing those tasks to, like, catch all the Galarian forms or whatever it might be in Sword and Shield. So it's not really a game on its own. It's an addition at best to other games. And really, again, it's just a cloud system. But Pokemon Works, this being a collaboration between ILCA and the Pokemon Company, means that we could see some revamping in Pokemon Home. You know, perhaps Pokemon Works will now take over Pokemon Home, and this will lead to less bugs because it is a buggy mess. There's always bugs and glitches and stuff. Perhaps some more timely updates, because I don't know if y'all remember this, but in Sword and Shield, when the DLC for Sword and Shield dropped, Pokemon Home was compatible day one. But with the Scarlet and Violet DLC, that was not the case. Pokemon Home was not compatible with the DLC until like a day or two after those DLCs had dropped, the Teal Mask and the Indigo Disc. Furthermore, there were so many issues with like Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus. We did not get the home update for those games until much later, way later than we should have. And also for Scarlet and Violet, honestly, way later than we should have. It was like late May or something like that. And that is, guys, that's kind of ridiculous. I'm not going to lie. That's pretty bad. But this could perhaps be more quality put in, because now the Pokemon Company is right there kind of having some oversight on ILCA, because before it was all, they were just subbing it out to a third party, right? And that kind of makes them not have as much control. Like, sure, they can look at the final product and say, we don't like this or we do like this, but they're not there during the building of the process to go, hey, actually, let's not do that. Why don't we do this instead? Or, hey, guys, let's remember we want this thing to be out by this date. You know, they can do that now because they're right there with ILCA and Pokemon Works. But more importantly is what this means for Pokemon games, because in the past, we've gotten our Pokemon remakes, things like Heart Gold and Soul Silver, Fire Red and Leaf Green, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, and these were done by GameFreak. However, with the Gen 4 remakes, GameFreak changed this up, and like I mentioned earlier, gave this to Ilka, and Ilka made Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl. And because of that, there were some issues. The game was buggy. There were features that literally were locked until after Legends Arceus, the next Pokemon game, had released, like just so much later. It had compatibility issues with Home, which is embarrassing because Ilka made both games. And also, a lot of people were kind of disappointed with it because the game itself just felt a little lackluster. There were no new forms or new evolutions or new Pokemon or anything, which we kind of had gotten used to being in our Pokemon game. You figure the last time before Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl that we had a Pokemon game that did not give us any kind of new Pokemon or new form, and I mean mainline game, of course. The last time we had that was... wow. That was Heart Gold and Soul Silver. That was a long time ago because, of course, Black and White, new gen. Black 2 and White 2, you got the Kyurem forms. X and Y, new gen. Oris, new megas. Sun and Moon, new gen. Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon, you have Blacephalon, Poipole, Dusk Lycanroc. With Let's Go Pikachu and Eevee, you have Meltan Melmetal. Sword and Shield, new gen. And then Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl. So it had been a long time, and here we get a game. No new Pokemon, no new forms, nothing. And that becomes especially weird when you look at the fact that Dialga and Palkia were given new forms in Legends Arceus. So it's like 2 months later, we get new forms for them. Why would you not just go ahead and put those in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, a game that has Dialga and Palkia on the box of them? Well, it actually makes sense when you think about it. Again, Pokemon has delegated this game, Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, to Ilka. And, if it's a third party working on our game, we're not going to really want them to make new designs for it, right? Like, the Pokemon company should be the one making new designs for Pokemon games. That just makes sense. You don't want a third party to do that. I totally understand that. Like, as a YouTuber, I like to edit my own videos. I know that there's some great editors out there. I just don't really want to sub it out because I like having that full control. And I think that's how the Pokemon company feels about new designs and new Pokemon, new forms, whatever designs entails. But now, since Pokemon Works is a part of the Pokemon company, it's not a third party. They're giving it to one of their companies. They would let them make a new design for the game. So hypothetically, if we get a Vast White and Deep Black, well, maybe we could see the original dragon there, because before, we don't want Ilka, a third party, drawing up designs for a new design, but now it's our own artists that are in-house that are doing these things, artists that we hired directly, not third party hired. It just makes more sense. They have more hands-on, so they would allow things like that. They would allow Unova forms. They would allow the original dragon, maybe even evolutions or just brand new Pokemon in general. Also, too, another thing to think about is with Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, there were a lot of features that people wanted that didn't happen. Like, people did kind of want Mega Evolution to come back into the game. Well, it makes sense that they wouldn't want that either. Like, hey, we don't want you taking a lot of creative liberties with this game because you're only third party. But now, they're not. They are a part. Pokemon Works is a part of the Pokemon company. So, they're probably going to be able to take more liberties with the games. They're probably going to be able to go, hey, we know that we've never seen Z moves in the Kanto region, but when we're making this Kanto game, we want to put Z moves in. And then ultimately, just at the end of the day, this is just a great thing because it means that the Pokemon company can now focus on these new experimental games like Pokemon Legends Arceus and Pokemon Legends ZA, and we still get another game by Pokemon Works, and it's not going to matter. It's not going to mean, oh no, Gen 10's going to look horrible, it's going to be rushed. It actually doesn't mean that, because not only is it a different team working on the game, it's a whole different company, but we still have that Pokemon in the title of the company, so we know that it will still have some quality control in it. But yeah, I think that this is purely a great thing. Been wanting to talk about this for a while. And yeah, here we are. So be sure to let me know what you think of Pokemon Works. Let me know down in the comments below. Be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell for notifications so you don't miss all of our future videos. I really think that the future for Pokemon looks really, really bright, guys. And I can't wait to see what the first project for Pokemon Works is. For clarification, we do not know they'll be working on games, but I really do think that's what they're set up for. Until next time, I will see all of you later.